It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as Bray Wyatt teases an appearance in Ring of Honor, Braun Strowman reveals talks with All Elite Wrestling, and an AEW star teases a potential jump to WWE. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first... All Elite Wrestling have announced the latest sign-in to their roster, with Daniel Garcia receiving a full-time contract with the promotion. The news was revealed on Twitter by AEW President Tony Khan, who praised the youngster for his hard work and said, "This year, Daniel Garcia came into AEW with a great reputation built through his hard work on the indies, and he's continued to work hard here in AEW, and he's shown no fear, never backing down from anyone, even the best in the world. Thank you and welcome to the team, Daniel Garcia." Garcia would respond to Khan's tweet by stating his intentions to become a major player in AEW in the coming years, revealing he has held out on signing a contract with a wrestling company until he found the right home for him to achieve his goals, and said, "I told myself I didn't want to sign somewhere just to say I got a contract. I wanted to go somewhere that would help me become the best wrestler in the world. I know AEW is where I can become that. I plan on being a major player in this company for a very long time." Garcia has made a huge impact on AEW since his debut in May 2021, working 15 matches up until this point, including the opportunity to share the ring with megastar CM Punk. As well as that, he's also had interactions with the icon Sting. AEW have positioned Garcia in a prominent position on their television shows early on, and that was without a full-time contract being in place. And it will no doubt be interesting to see what he can achieve now he is officially on the books. WWE NXT wrestler and talent scout Samoa Joe spoke with Kurt Angle on his Kurt Angle Show podcast this week and would discuss the wrestling return of CM Punk. Joe famously worked a trilogy of matches with Punk in Ring of Honor, and the two remain close friends to this day. Joe would state that Punk's debut in AEW didn't surprise him and explained why, and said, "If I know one thing about Punk, if he's out on something, he's out on it. You won't see him being around it, you won't see him looking at it, you won't see him staring at it, it's out of his life. I think the minute I saw him on the Fox set, I knew his eyes were turning back towards it. I think he was just looking for the right place and right time. He wanted to be happy with it, and I think he is from what I've seen. I've gathered that he is, and I'm stoked for him, happy that he's back." Joe would continue by saying that his matches with Punk in ROH meant a lot for his career and introduced him to a different side of wrestling. Whilst it's unlikely that we'll ever see the two step back in the ring with each other, with one being in AEW and the other being in WWE, it's cool to see the respect that Joe has for Punk, both of whom helped put each other on the map before their individual big moves to TNA and WWE. Now let's go over to New Japan Pro-Wrestling, where the finalists have been named for the prestigious G1 Climax 31 tournament. After a grueling 8 matches, Kota Ibushi has advanced to the finals from Block A, walking out with 14 points, winning 6 of his matches, only picking up losses to Zack Sabre Jr. and Yujiro Takahashi. On the Block B side of things, Kazuchika Okada came out on top with an impressive 16 points, winning all but 1 of his 9 matches, losing to only Tama Tonga. Bear in mind that Ibushi had to wrestle less matches due to the forfeit of Tetsuya Naito after an injury early on in the tournament. This means that Ibushi and Okada will go one-on-one tomorrow night on October 21st in the 31st ever G1 Climax final. The winner of the match will receive a briefcase which holds a contract to the Wrestle Kingdom 16 main event for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, currently held by Shingo Takagi. Out of the 2 finalists, only one of them have held the IWGP World Heavyweight strap, with Ibushi being the inaugural champion, although Okada has held the IWGP Heavyweight title 5 times before its merger with the Intercontinental title to become the World Heavyweight Championship. Next up, the soon-to-be free agent Bray Wyatt this week teased a potential alliance with a Ring of Honor star ahead of the expiration of his non-compete clause on the 29th of October. Wyatt, who is now going by his real name of Wyndham on social media, would respond to the popular Danhausen, teasing the formation of the evilest duo in wrestling. Danhausen would respond to photographer Sadiel Ruiz, who tweeted that he wants to see Orange Cassidy versus Danhausen with a photo of the two together. Another Twitter user, Christopher Hall, would reply to Danhausen suggesting that a match with the former Bray Wyatt would be money, suggesting that this could happen in a tooth match. Wyndham would then chime in suggesting they team up instead and said, "We should unite instead, how very evil of us." Danhausen has expressed an interest in working with Bray Wyatt in the past, and if I recall correctly, he had a brief interaction with a cardboard cutout of The Fiend in one of his YouTube videos. With Wyndham imminently set to become a free agent, he will no doubt have offers from all of the big wrestling companies, including Ring of Honor, so perhaps we could see the formation of Windhausen, something that would be very evil indeed. This week, former WWE Universal Champion Braun Strowman would appear in an interview with John Macaron of Sports Illustrated, where he seemed to confirm talks between himself and All Elite Wrestling. Strowman, who has recently been spotted having talks with Impact Wrestling EVP Scott D'Amore, revealed discussions between himself, his agent, and AEW before talking about his demands were he to sign with a promotion, and said, "Yeah, we've sat down and discussed stuff like that with my agent and things like that. We're just trying to find a fit now where everything kind of will work together, since now there's so many things that I'm working on in my personal life. I don't have as much time to devote to the full-time schedule to wrestle now, so it's trying to find somewhere where I'll be able to land in there to show up, have fun and entertain the people, but still be able to work on my side projects along the way." It seems that if Strowman were to sign with a wrestling company, he'd need to be allowed to work on his own projects, something that is very possible in AEW and Impact, and something that he would have been restricted by during his time in WWE. Despite talks with AEW, it's fully expected that Braun will be appearing at this Saturday's Impact Bound for Glory, although only time will tell. And remember, if you do want to catch the possible debut of Braun Strowman or Adam Scherr or Titan, whatever his name will be, in Impact Wrestling, you can do so by using our Fight affiliate link in the description below, where you can get the pay-per-view for just $20. And quickly, just before we continue, make sure you drop a like on the video as it helps me out a lot, and make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming wrestling content as we head, hopefully, towards 100,000 subscribers. But now, let's press play on the video. And finally, AEW's MJF appeared in a very interesting interview this week with Brandon Walker of Barstool to discuss a number of topics, including his thoughts on WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, as well as the possibility of leaving AEW for WWE in 2024 when his contract expires. MJF stayed in character throughout the interview, which is of course a trademark for the young prospect, and he would politely threaten AEW President Tony Khan with a jump away if his demands aren't met when the negotiation period comes around, and he would say, "Tony Khan understands where his bread is buttered. Tony Khan understands he has the best promo or interviewee or guy on the stick, however you want to say it, in all of professional wrestling. I'm also one of the best in-ring wrestlers in the world today. My issue, and the reason why I don't get into ratings talk, and I'll let everybody else do it, is someday, if Tony Khan, again, a good friend of mine, doesn't fork up the right amount of money when my contract goes up in the beginning of 2024, I might go to the other place." MJF would then double down on the possibility of a move away from AEW and would say, "I might go over there, I might go to Impact, I might go to Ring of Honor. I can go wherever I want because I'm the hottest commodity in professional wrestling." MJF would then be asked about the recent ratings talk with AEW slowly closing the gap on WWE, and this led to Roman Reigns' comments from last week coming up, who said that the only reason people were interested in AEW is because they are new, and MJF would respond, "Roman Reigns lost in the key demographic to Ruby Soho, and Ruby Soho sucks, so I don't know what to tell you. Don't get me wrong, that's not me shitting on Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is a hell of a performer, he really is. I think he's absolutely incredible. Am I better than him on the mic and in the ring? Sure, but I'm not going to go out of my way and talk shit about him because I respect him. I respect what he does. I respect the hard work that goes into putting out that product that is WWE. Again, someday I might work there." MJF would end the discussion about Roman Reigns by stating that he knows that Reigns will pretend that he doesn't know who he is, but knows that people in WWE do watch AEW. Whilst MJF continues to remain in character, I honestly feel that once his deal does expire with AEW in 2024, he will have a huge offer on the table from WWE and will be part of a huge back and forth negotiation between both companies. Whether MJF stays with AEW in the future or not is still unknown, but he certainly knows how to get people talking, wrestling, and he will be one of the biggest stars in the business in due course. And before you go, make sure you check out my video where I discuss the secret wrestling returns of CM Punk before he showed up in AEW.